You are listening to Julia's Trucking Cafe News Hour. Hello, welcome back to Julia's Trucking Cafe Trucking News Hour. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I have lots of news to get to, so let's get right to it. A trucker's sweet drive takes a sour turn. This happened in Indiana. Indiana State Police say that an unusual incident happened involving a tanker hauling sugarcane, and it caused traffic backups. This happened back around February 18th. It was a Tuesday morning. State Police share photos of a disabled truck on I-74 in Dearborn County, Indiana. He said that the tanker was loaded with liquid sugar cane, when it broke in the middle, end quote, and became disabled on eastbound I-74 at around exit 64. They said so far no sugar escaped from the tank, avoiding a very sticky situation. Pun intended. Troopers have not provided any information on what caused the incident at this time. Traffic delays were reported in both directions of I-74 on that morning. And Missouri DOT warns drivers to be ready for a major weekend shutdown. The Missouri Department of Transportation was expecting major traffic delays when they closed portions of Interstate 70 around Kansas City. The road closures were from 10 at night on a Friday till 5 a.m. on Monday. Why do they always have to close the highway down over the weekend? Don't they realize that a lot of the times most of the travelers travel over the weekend, getting stuff ready? You know, this is, I'm reporting on this. This happened before the coronavirus hit. But parts of I-70 that were closed at the time were from Route 291 and Interstate 470 and Interstate 435. That was westbound, and eastbound I-70 was closed at Interstate 435, the loop around Kansas City. Missouri DOT, they recommended I-470 as an alternative route for both east and westbound Interstate 70 drivers. And Florida is kicking out car drivers to make a rest area truck parking only. Florida Department of Transportation, like I said, is kicking out car drivers out of a rest area in Seminole County, making it truck only. Florida DOT recently announced that the eastbound I-4 rest area located 2 miles north of State Route 434 in Longwood County will close as early as the 18th of February to both car and truck drivers as a part of a construction project. The rest area will then be modified to include parking for trucks only, and the Florida DOT says that the truck parking area will have and facilities will remain open to truckers only. They say that car parking will be removed from the rest area in order to accommodate a newer stormwater pond for new eastbound Interstate 4 auxiliary lane. And a truck driver sadly fell 75 feet off of a bridge as he was trying to help another motorist. Firefighters in North Carolina say that a truck driver survived a serious fall from an interstate bridge. The incident occurred Wednesday, February 19th, around 2 in the morning. It reportedly began when a car driver hydroplaned into the side of the northbound I-85 bridge over the Yadkin River. 2 truck drivers stopped to assist. According to a report from the local news outlet, the truck driver saw another semi-truck heading towards them, and one of them jumped over the side of the bridge to escape the semi-truck barreling toward him, falling about 75 feet to the riverbed below. The truck driver may have believed that there was a concrete median over the side of the bridge, but he did survive the fall, thank goodness. And here is a picture of the fire crews working to rescue that driver. And in another story, a trucking company sues the feds, claiming that they seized $181,000 in cash from an employee. Now, this I reported on, back toward the first of the year. I think it was around January, February or so. And that an employee went to purchase trucks, and they in turn seized the money from that person that went to the auction to buy trucks. Florida-based trucking company has filed lawsuit after they said that federal authorities seized more than $181,000 in cash meant to purchase trucks for their fleet. Tampa trucking company FGL Transport, and I'm sorry I'm squinting, but the monitor that I'm using is kind of bright, so I'm having to try to, I have my contacts in, but I'm trying to still read it, and it's kind of hard to read it. Has filed suit in U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection. The lawsuit stems from an incident that occurred back in September of 2019 when they attempted to send a employee, Boris Nolman, to Cleveland to purchase 4 trucks to add to their small fleet. The company says that they gave Nolman $191,500 in cash and tried to put him on a plane to Cleveland to complete the transaction. When Newman's carry-on bag went through the airport's TSA scanner, agents discovered the cash, and after questioning him with the help of airport police, authorities seized most of it, leaving Newman with only about $10,000. I believe you have to claim anything, but I mean, that's coming in from another country, from what I understand, that you have to claim anything more than $10,000. When FGL filled out a verified claim form in order to reclaim the seized cash, they were reportedly informed by U.S. Customs and Border Protection that the agency was attempting to seize $159,950 because the cash was believed to be tied to an unspecified unlawful activity. The lawsuit also points out that there's a discrepancy between the $159,950 that federal authorities admit to seizing and the $181,500 that FGL Transport says that they actually seized. In spite of the fact that FGL Transport says they have documented that this was the amount that was taken from Newland. The lawsuit argues that it is not uncommon to purchase trucking equipment with cash and that the cash was obtained legally. FGL Transport co-owner Mike Fosenberg told the Tampa Bay Times, "This is legitimate money. There's nothing dirty about this. We have evidence to show that we took this out of our business account, and something is pretty fishy here." So I would think so. And the next story is Connecticut. Governor finally decides to give up on his truck-only tolls. For now. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont said that he was abandoning his controversial truck-only plan after legislative leaders failed to schedule a vote on the bill. Lamont held a press conference during which he said he would abandon his plan for truck-only tolls this year after lawmakers in Democrat-controlled General Assembly failed on multiple occasions to schedule a vote on the proposal. Lamont told reporters, "If these guys aren't willing to vote and step up, I'm going to solve the problem. Right now, we're going to go back to the way we've done things for years in this state when we keep kicking the can down the road," end quote. Lamont had planned to place toll gantries at 12 locations throughout Connecticut to collect tolls from commercial vehicles only. When this version of the plan debuted last year, House Democrats estimated they could generate $150 million in revenue per year, in large part from us truckers, out-of-state truckers. Lamont said that instead of tolling trucks to pay for infrastructure, I gotta slow down. Connecticut would instead borrow $200 million to pay for an infrastructure transportation improvement plan dubbed CT 2030. Lamont has abandoned and retrieved the truck-only toll plan before on the campaign trail in 2018. Lamont told voters that he believed he could generate anywhere from $100 million to $200 million from truck-only tolling. After he was elected in the face of harsh criticism from trucking groups and anti-tolling groups. I'll get this right eventually, people. Lamont backed off from the plan, admitting in an op-ed that truck-only option provides too little revenue, too slowly, and too piecemeal to make a meaningful difference, end quote. Yeah, he was pressured because everybody in his government doesn't want to pay the tolls for cars, so they just want to get away scot-free. After Lamont took office in 2019, he announced a new plan to toll both cars and trucks and scrubbed that from pressure from House Democrats to drop the cars from the proposal and revive the truck-only plan. Though Lamont has pulled the plug on plans for truck-only tolling for this year, there is no reason to believe that the plan is totally defeated. Republican leader Len Fasano told NBC New York, "Nothing's dead in this building. Back up again this session. I might be a little bit surprised. Back up again in 2021. I think you could probably bank on it." So, yeah, you know the government, they're never going to let you, get away with anything for very long. And now let's take a short break. This episode of Julia's Trucker Cafe is brought to you by My Patriot Supply. As truck drivers, we all know what it's like to be at a shipper's or receiver's and have to wait to be loaded for hours on end. Am I right? Especially produce coolers and paper mills. That's why you need to be prepared with extra food in your truck, especially with the bad weather coming in, like it is over here in Kansas, up in the Dakotas and Minnesota. 90 was shut down, Interstate 94 was shut down, along with 29. What are you going to do if there's no food and a truck stop was without power? That's why you need to stay prepared with My Patriot Supply. Now it's not what you're thinking. My Patriot Supply is delicious emergency food. They have food kits that are good up to 25 years. They come in a slimline tote that you can easily store in your food pantry or under your bunk. I can speak from experience. After living through Hurricane Katrina, we were without power for 10 days, me, my mother, and son, and I. If it weren't for the MREs that were flown into us, we wouldn't have any food. There was 4 60-foot pine trees that broke in half during that storm and crossed my driveway and landlocked me in. That's when My Patriot Supply would have come in handy. If I knew then what I know now about My Patriot Supply, I definitely have some of this food stockpiled in my pantry. Now, for a limited time, you could get a 1-week supply of food in a handy and neat-looking ammo can, like you see here, for just $39. Look at all that food you get. It's a week's worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinners, just for $39. How do you get it? Where do you go, do you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Just go to my website at juliastruckercafe.com, click on the Emergency Food Supply tab, scroll down and click on any of the images to find out more information and get yours today. They even offer gluten-free food for under $100. Winter weather is here. What would you do if the interstate was shut down, just like I was talking about? You need to get My Patriot Supply and get it today. Welcome back to Julia's Trucker Cafe Truckin' News Hour. I hope you're enjoying the show. Let's get back to the news. A trucker is seriously hurt after an identified object smashes through the windshield. Indiana state troopers say that a trucker was hospitalized with serious injuries after an unknown object crashed through his truck's windshield. This occurred February 19th on Interstate 8094 at around mile marker 17. The Indiana State Police say that 23-year-old Illinois-based trucker Khalil A. Blasingham was eastbound in the center lane of the interstate when an object struck and apparently penetrated his windshield, causing the glass to shatter. Blasingham was seriously injured and was airlifted to a hospital in Chicago. Troopers did not provide any information on what the object was and believed to be, or whether it was deliberately thrown at the truck. And this story goes out to a friend of mine, or all of you. This story goes out to all of you who love broccoli. Feds find $18 million worth of drugs in a load of broccoli. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol say that they recently intercepted a huge amount of illegal drugs from a truckload of broccoli at a Texas cargo facility. The drug bust was made on the 16th of February at the Far Reynosa International Bridge cargo facility in Far, Texas. According to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, officers at the facility referred to a truck hauling a load of fresh broccoli for further inspection. The use of non-intrusive imaging equipment, radar, officers found 432 packages of various types of suspected drugs hidden in the broccoli. They seized the semi-truck in addition to the drugs, and Homeland Security is still investigating the incident at that time. Quote, "This was truly a notable seizure in the commercial environment. Our officers' ability to maintain an excellent enforcement posture while keeping trade flowing and uninterrupted is one of our main priorities." And our next story, a trucking company says they were abandoned by their investors and are closing for good. A California-based trucking company announced that they would be closing down for good, citing the abrupt departure of investors and company leadership. On February 21st, Michael Ducey Trucking, based at Paso Robles, California, announced to employees via letter that the company was shuttering operations permanently. According to the FMCSA's website, the company operates about 45 trucks and, of course, 45 drivers. The company specialized in distribution services for local wineries and breweries in the Paso Robles and Napa area. Trucking company was founded by winemaker Michael Ducey 20 years ago, but was taken over by outside investors, Tattoo Dog Holdings and Head Hall Capital Partners in 2018. In a letter to employees, the company said both leadership and investors, quote, threw in the towel, forcing the sudden closure. And you could read the letter here in this article that'll be in the show notes that you could find at juliastruckandcafe.com. Click on the cafe menu, scroll down, and you'll see the shows and then the show notes. Look for the title of this episode about DOT talking about CBD, and it'll be episode 79 in the show notes. Now, in other news, the security guard that I talked about in episode 78, who shot a truck driver over a parking spot, commits suicide. Oklahoma police have confirmed that the security guard accused of shooting a semi-truck driver in a parking spot dispute at a truck stop earlier in February committed suicide. 45-year-old George Darrell Bischoff used a rented firearm to fatally shoot himself at the Big Boys Guns, Ammo, and Range in Oklahoma City on February 20th. Police have confirmed that Bischoff was the security guard who shot the truck driver in a reserved parking section of the TA located off of Interstate 40 in Oklahoma City on Valentine's Day in an argument over parking. The sergeant of the Oklahoma City Police Department described the shooting, quote, apparently the security guard was out there checking when a disagreement happened. Physical altercation took place. The security guard discharged his firearm. Bischoff was reportedly facing a charge of assault with a deadly weapon in connection with that shooting. During the altercation, the truck driver was struck by a single bullet and was listed in serious condition. He has been since released from the hospital, thank goodness. TA issued a statement on the shooting incident. TA is aware of the distressing incident. Come on, it's a shooting. Involved on their lot a truck driver security guard in South Council Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. TA is cooperating fully with Oklahoma City Police as a third-party security company, and we await the conclusion, the investigation by law enforcement. Our thoughts are with the truck driver, and we wish him a quick and full recovery. Yeah, and he should get free parking for the frickin' year, or we should boycott that doggone reserve parking. You know, give rent-a-cops a gun, and lo and behold, look what the heck happens, you know? And a trucking company out of Wisconsin closes the Wisconsin terminal, eliminating dozens of jobs for drivers. And they're out of Illinois. An Illinois-based trucking company announced that it would shutter a terminal in Wisconsin, eliminating dozens of jobs. Carroll Stream, Illinois-based trucking company Black Horse Carriers told Wisconsin state officials that they would permanently close the Pewaukee, yes, there's a town in Wisconsin named Pewaukee, terminal located on Hickory Street as of February 24th. Black Horse Carrier said that the closure of the terminal will permanently eliminate 68 jobs. 61 of those eliminated are for CDL Class A driver positions. According to that letter, the closure has been prompted by the customer's decision given on Friday, February 21st, to discontinue business with Black Horse Carriers at that location. The letter stated that the company would ensure that workers would be paid all wages and earn benefits at the time of termination of their employment. Black Horse operates 5 other terminals in the state of Wisconsin, located in Kenosha, Milwaukee, Oak Creek, Pleasant Prairie, and Stevens Point. The company operates more than 80 terminals nationwide and employs 3,137 drivers, according to the FMCSA website. And our top story. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement about this, but this is DOT. We're in a safety sensitive driving position, so it's hard, you know, how can I say this? I get a lot of junk email. Oh, you need to try this CBD. You need to try that CBD. You need to try the gummies. And months ago, I reported on a driver using CBD gummies, you know, for aches and pains or trying to go to sleep or something like this. Don't do it, because he got popped for a random drug screen, and it did show up. You know, I get arguments all the time. Oh, that's not, CBD doesn't have any THC in it. I'm sorry, I disagree. I'm not going to say bullshit, but, I disagree. You're not going to get it all out of the product. It's not going to happen. So here, the DOT is issuing warnings. They issued a memo answering common questions about CBD products for safety-sensitive workers, which we are, along with air traffic controllers and pilots. The DOT shared a notice intended to clear up confusion about the use of CBD products by safety-sensitive employees in the transportation industry, including pilots, train engineers, and truck drivers. DOT reminds workers that it is never, they remind workers it is never acceptable for safety-sensitive employees who are subject to drug testing regulations to consume marijuana. Workers are also warned to use caution if they do decide to consume CBD. Cannabis oils and stuff. Since the use of cannabis products could lead to positive drug test results, Department of Transportation regulated safety-sensitive employees should exercise caution when considering whether to use the products or not. I'm stressing this, people. Yes, my eyes might get big, but I'm stressing this. The outline 3 major points about the use of CBD by safety-sensitive workers. 1. DOT requires testing for marijuana and not CBD. 2. Labeling of many CBD products may be misleading because the products could contain higher levels of THC than what the product label states. The FDA does not currently certify the levels of THC in CBD products, so there's no federal oversight to ensure that the labels are accurate. The FDA has cautioned the public that, quote, consumers should be aware purchasing and using any, I repeat, any CBD products. The FDA has stated it is currently illegal to market CBD by adding it to a food or labeling it as a dietary supplement. Also, the FDA has issued several warning letters to companies because their products contain more CBD than indicated on the product label. The DOT Drug and Alcohol Testing Regulation Part 40 does not authorize the use of Scheduled 1 drugs, including marijuana, for any reason. Furthermore, CBD use is not a legitimate medical explanation for a laboratory-confirmed marijuana positive result. Therefore, medical review officers will verify a drug test confirmed at the appropriate cutoffs as positive, even if an employee claims they only used a CBD product. So, you use it at your own risk. You may lose your license over it. Period. No questions asked. There's a good chance you'll get popped for a drug screen. You will lose your license. So, you want to use it? Take it on your own risk. Plain and simple. I care about all of my listeners and my viewers. Thank you so much for viewing the show. I just really don't want any of y'all to, lose your license and say, but Julia said, no. If you enjoy the show and would like to support me, the links to do so are in the description below. You could either make a monthly support payment or a one-time donation. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below. I have over 100 subscribers. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed so far, and thank you for everyone that's been viewing my videos. Like I said, I always apologize. I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard to get comfortable doing this, so I greatly, greatly appreciate all of you who tune in each and every week to watch the video and listen to the cafe. I also have a podcast if you want to, instead of watching it, if you want to listen to it while you're driving or anything, look at Apple Podcast or in the Google Play Store, anything like that. If you're new to the cafe and you'd like to check us out, at the bottom of every podcast episode that's on the website at juliastrucketcafe.com, I have a page that where else you could find me. Where else you could find the podcast, like iHeartRadio, iTunes, and many more. We also have a Facebook page. Like us on Facebook, and don't forget to join our discussion group at Julia's Trucket Cafe Regulars. I also share recipes, so head on over to my other YouTube channel, Julia's Trucket Cafe How To, and you can watch my cooking videos trying to help people save money, especially this time. If you wouldn't mind, I humbly ask, please subscribe to our email list, and I'll send you the show notes right to your inbox. It's juliastrucketcafe.com/newsletter. juliastruckingcafe.com/newsletter. This way, you don't have to keep digging around in the website. I'm glad that you do, but you get it right in your inbox every single week. In the future, when I have new things coming out, like giveaways, if you're on the email list, you'll get priority in getting those things. Mother's Day is coming up, and I might be running a Mother's Day special. I got a cafe store too. If you're looking for something for your trucking mom, I have good, cool things in the Trucket Cafe store. Before I forget, please feel free to leave a comment on the bottom of YouTube channel or on any podcast episode. I read each and every one. Shoot me an email, info@juliastrucketcafe.com. So have a great day, and until next time, keep the shiny side up. Thanks so much for listening. You have been listening to Julia's Truckett Cafe Truckin' News Hour. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Take care. Have a blessed day.